Welcome to the Deep Dive. Really glad you could join us today. We're jumping right into the AEW Collision results from June 26, 2025. This was that special Thursday show taped out in Kent, Washington. It aired on TNT and Max. And our mission today, really, is to break down the big moments, maybe some surprises, and, the key developments, both in the ring and what was happening backstage. Basically, we will give you a shortcut to understanding what's going on in All Elite Wrestling right now.
Yeah, and shortcut is good, but this episode, Collision, it felt pretty significant. It wasn't just like a standalone show. It's really setting things up. You've got these huge milestones on the horizon, Dynamite 300 and Collision 100, that combined show next week. And then looming large, all in Texas. So what we saw here, I think, was rivalries really kicking into high gear, maybe some new alliances forming too. It feels important for the rest of the year.
Definitely felt that way. And speaking of rivalries kicking off, got to start with that opening segment, right? FTR Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood with Stokely Hathaway. And across from them, the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, and Truth Magnum. Wow. The tension was just immediate. You could feel it.
Oh, yeah. Stokely went straight into complaining about the Outrunners' behavior, but what Cash Wheeler said was really interesting. He basically argued that as soon as FTR started looking out for themselves, suddenly they had problems. First with Adam Cole, Daniel Garcia, and now, boom, the Outrunners are an issue. It feels like they're leaning into that real-life history, making this feud feel much more personal.
Yeah, that personal touch really came through. Cash mentioned can sessions, and then they showed that video package, STR and the Outrunners, like hanging out in the past. What was that about? Was it just a dig or something?
Deeper. I think it was deeper. That package, it wasn't just a highlight reel. It was designed to make you feel that broken friendship. Smart storytelling, really. And then Dax Harwood just let loose, called them a joke. A meme said they blew their one shot at the tag titles and flat out declared, "You will never be FTR good." He even told the fans who were chanting Outrunners that it was his time to talk, which is, a bold move.
It is. Does that risk turning the fans off them, telling them to quiet down when they're getting behind the underdogs?
It's a gamble, maybe. But then the Outrunners had their response, and it was pretty emotional. Truth Magnum saying, maybe we're not everyone's cup of tea. Sometimes we just need to have fun. But Turbo Floyd, wow. He said their biggest mistake was believing in FTR. Said FTR dropped them when something better came along and that they were put on the earth to entertain. It felt genuine.
It really did.
Yeah.
And it all leads somewhere concrete.
Exactly. Stokely Hathaway accepted the challenge. Match is set. FTR versus the Outrunners next week, Collision 100 in Ontario. So yeah, it's moved beyond words now. It's personal, and it's happening on a big show. These broken friendships often make for the best stories.
Okay, so from personal feuds, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk championships. We had the TNT Championship match, Adam Cole defending against Josh Alexander.
And Alexander made no bones about it beforehand. His promo was clear. I'm going after Cole's bad ankle. I'm taking that title. And in the match, he did exactly that. Constant focus on the left ankle, trying to wear Cole down. But Cole, he's a champion for a reason, pulled out the Panama Sunrise, the backstabber. Alexander, though, incredibly tough. Kicked out of the Sunrise, even got Cole in his own ankle lock. In the end, Cole hit the boom, kept the title. But Alexander, he looked like $1 million even in defeat. Really cemented him as a threat.
Definitely elevated him. But things weren't just happening in the ring. Backstage, Ricochet, he gets confronted by AR Fox in the parking lot. But then, out of nowhere, the Gates of Agony, Toleona, and Khan, they just attack Fox. Then this stare down with Ricochet.
Yeah.
And Ricochet just says he wants to talk. What are we thinking here?
This feels pretty significant for Ricochet. He's often just seen as the high flyer, the incredible athlete. But aligning, potentially, with the Gates of Agony, that adds a whole new layer, a faction dynamic. That simple line, I want to talk, it hints at maybe a more strategic Ricochet, maybe even a darker edge. It's interesting character development.
Okay, let's move over to the women's division. Things were definitely percolating there, too. We got that video package from Mercedes Madone, broke the projector, called Toni Storm a mark. Pretty bold stuff.
Oh, massively ambitious. She declared she's going to be 7 belts, Moni, after All In. Laid out the whole plan. Beat Mina Shirakawa on Dynamite 300, then go beat Toni Storm for the women's world title at All In Texas. I mean, that's a huge statement. Given the talent in that division and her own recent return, is that realistic? Or just, big talk to build hype?
That's a good question. And speaking of Toni Storm, there was that backstage bit. Her, Luther, and Mina Shirakawa. Mina telling Toni point blank, don't get involved in her title match, even though Tony wanted payback.
Yeah.
Shows Mina wants to do it herself, right? Stand on her own.
Exactly, independence. And then you had Megan Bayne just dominating Vert Vixen, hit the Fapes decent for the win. She's building serious momentum for that women's casino gauntlet. Looks like a real force.
We also saw Queen Aminata against Sky Blue. Aminata got the win there with off with her head.
But the aftermath, that was something else. Just chaos. Sky Blue, Julia Hart, and Thekla jump on Aminata. Then Anna Jay and Melo Tej make the save. With the 2x4 and a pipe, no less. And just when you think that's it, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford come out. Just stand there, staring everyone down. It looked chaotic, but I think it's deliberate. Like, AEW is trying to rapidly build multiple women's factions and storylines all at once. It's a lot, but could pay off.
It's definitely busy. Okay, back to the tag teams for a moment. Christian Cage and Nick Wayne, they had that match against Big Bill and Brian Keith.
Yep, and Mama Wayne gets involved, causes the distraction. Nick Wayne picks up the pin. It just keeps reinforcing Wayne's rise under Cage's mentorship. Smart pairing there. Then backstage, MVP shows up, praises Cage, calls Wayne impressive, but warns Wayne off the Hurt Syndicate.
And Cage just brushes him off.
Totally. Calls MVP a better criminal than a manager, stakes their claim for the tag titles. It's good foreshadowing, setting up potential clashes down the line.
Right. And we also saw Brody King and Templario get a win, right? Over Hechicero and Rocky Romero.
We did. Powerful showing. Brody hit the Gonzo bomb. Templario flew. They looked really dominant, making a statement in that tag division.
Definitely. Okay, let's get to the main event, the Battle of the Kyles. Kyle Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly. A lot of anticipation for this one.
And it delivered. Really intense match. O'Reilly doing his thing, the joint manipulation, submission attempts, ankle locks, arm bars, trying to take Fletcher apart piece by piece. Fletcher firing back with those heavy strikes, big kicks, knees, real back and forth. But the key moment, interference. Lance Archer from the Don Callis family. That distraction let Fletcher hit the brain buster for the win. Wasn't just a fluke win, though. It felt like a strategic move by Callis' group.
And it didn't stop there, did it? Post-match beatdown.
Nope. Archer and Fletcher just laying into O'Reilly. But then big save. Adam Cole, the TNT champion, runs down. Roderick Strong, Daniel Garcia, too. They clear the ring.
Okay, so what's the bigger picture there?
Yeah.
With Cole and his guys saving O'Reilly from the Callis family guys.
Well, it ties into everything else, doesn't it? The Don Callis family wants more power, clearly. And they've been trying to recruit Daniel Garcia. We even saw Rocky Romero backstage talking to Garcia and Daddy Magic about it. Romero basically planted the seed. Maybe Cole just used Garcia. Maybe Don Callis offers a real family. So it's not just about wins and losses. It's psychological warfare, too. Trying to fracture alliances, test loyalty.
Always layers to it. Okay, just quickly looking ahead then. Anthony Bowens is in the Casino Gauntlet qualifier next week on Dynamite. Now, we got that video confirming Alex Windsor is back in AEW. Good news for the women's division.
Absolutely. So yeah, this Collision episode, it really felt like a turning point. A major step towards Dynamite 300, Collision 100, and definitely building steam for All in Texas. Championship scene, tag teams, those faction wars. Everything feels like it's heating up, moving forward deliberately.
Right. And that really brings us to the heart of it, doesn't it? What we learned from this deep dive. You see the dynamics shifting constantly, the strategies playing out, and honestly, the personal stakes getting higher and higher for everyone involved.
For sure. So maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about. With all these rivalries boiling over, all these new groups forming, what does family or loyalty even mean in pro wrestling right now? Especially with a massive show like All in Texas just around the corner, something to chew on.